Hello friends, we are now back with another episode of Frostpunk. This is now episode 3 here in the series. We just went through the beginning of the drop in temperature, and we will now see that it will drop down, go on slow mode, so it drops pretty quickly here, down. So what we need to do, you saw me lower the steam core, to only have to raise it up again. So we're going to raise this up, and you can see it doesn't do much to start that one level. But what we can do is we can throw this into overdrive, and this will help us manage that temperature a little bit better. So to also help on top of both of those, so we have the overdrive on, we have the steam at level 2, we have these heaters. If we pop these into place, you can see the child's shelter doesn't really go up. Even though we're doing that, it's still too cold to actually bear. So let's see here. If we do this, it tells you how the temperature works. So -2 for the weather, +2 for the building insulation, and +1 for the heater. Or if we go to this one, there's +1 for the heater, +2 for the building insulation, -2 for the weather. So you can see how each building gets affected a little bit differently. So it always amuses me how this one here, how it's almost the exact same statistics. They are the same statistics, yet this building does not get any warmer. So it's always interesting to me. Maybe it's just a glitch and it doesn't represent inside the actual temperature overlay. So that could also be the case. We want to make sure we do the same thing with this. This building has really bad insulation, so for the most part the heater's on the entire game, just because this building isn't good unless you have it within a steam hub area, which we will eventually move it into. And then these buildings still have modifiers, but they are always for the most part on the warmer side, so it's never usually an issue. This one here, we're going to want to do the same thing here. We're going to want to flip this on. It's still going to be on the cold side, but once this kicks in, it's going to raise that heat right up. And actually, I don't think we actually have to turn that on because it's going to be inside that loop. We'll find out right now. Is that going to raise the temperature? It does. It makes that building nice and warm to work in, which is fantastic. So that is complete. We're going to now wait. Oh, these hunters are now done, so we can remove them and assign the rest of them there and part of them there. And then these hunters will be done very shortly, and we are going to have them build us a place. Where is my building center here? We're going to have them build us a coal mine right over here. So not adjacent to a street, which is fine. We can just build one in a second. We can't build a second one because, like I said, it does require a steam core, and we only had one to start. The next piece is we're going to want to build this little, let me go back here, resource depot. It's going to help us hold more of a single resource. So what I'm going to do is, let's put this somewhere irrelevant to start. Let's just put it right here. Put it right here. Eventually we're going to move it way back because people don't actually use it in the intentions you would think they would use it, where they have to go to it to get resources. So we can put it in the very back where it's out of the way from the warmth and area, because we don't want to waste these warm sections. So, I mean, I could have just put it right here, but I'm going to expand that area soon, so it's going to be easier to move it. Because once we bump up this, we're not going to want to destroy this because we won't be able to add more to it. So we're going to do that. This road here, you can see we can't build it through for two reasons. One, it's going to run into this coal pile. And then second, we don't have enough wood. So this wood is going to be an issue for us. A steam core. We've just used our first steam core. The steam cores are a necessary component to advance in technology. It is a hindrance and a blessing for steam cores because it can be a very pain to be able to advance if you do not have them. We're going to want to tap into some of this wood very shortly, or we could just go straight into tapping into the rest of this. This is not a lot of wood, so I would like to build, like our next building obviously is the sawmill, so I'd like to build a sawmill so we can definitely advance into that department. So let's just start with this. We will let our people do what they need to do. And actually, we just got a new law. So let's go into our next law. So as you can see, we can't get into child labor because we did not go that route. So it's not going to allow us to get into there. We could go extended shifts, fighting arenas, food rations. I won't go down this route unless we absolutely have to. The next piece is what steps are we going to want to do here. We haven't had anyone die. I could take precautions and pre-build this and choose what option I want to do, whether it be cemetery or corpse disposal, or I could go into whether we do radical treatment or sustained life. So the difference is sustained life is when people get ill, we'll keep them alive untreated, which means they will slowly regain health over time, and this only happens when people get gravely ill. So the discontent will rise because of it. There's other aspects of it. But the problem with it is people don't get healthy it takes them a lot longer. Radical treatment, I like to butcher people for two reasons. One, eventually you get prosthetics, which you can make, people then can go back to work. But also it removes people from the medical facilities, so people don't just sit there taking up a bed. And that's the big piece for me, is I don't like people to just take up space when we don't need them to. So what I'm going to do is I will take the 30% odds that people lose a limb, and I'll also take everything else that goes with this, from prosthetics that we'll have to build later on, and everything else. But right now, let's just sign this. We don't have to build a building. It's just a law that's going to be put in place. The discontent will rise because of it, but that is okay. I will take that. Hope rises because we just put a new law into place, and this game likes to just give you hope sometimes. So now our sawmill is researched. So this coal pile will be an issue for the moment. And we also can't build anything, which is very depressing and sad. So I wonder if I remove this, let's not build that. Alright, so let's not build that because we need this sawmill down so we can begin to build. Alright, so let's see. Let's just build it right here. I want to be in... I'm afraid because we're not in the heat zone. I'd like to build it right here. Alright, we have no choice. We're going to build it right here, which will allow us to collect some of this wood, getting us some profit. Our next is going to be the steel or food. How are we on food? So we're doing good on food, so I will wait to do food. Let's take these people off because we need them to build this for us really quick. So we're all set on food at the moment. Coal is one of our big issues. And then steel is going to be our next one. So let's build this, or research that, not build. We'll research that. You can see coal's hurting. The other piece is we have to make sure our overdrive doesn't get too high, because if it gets too high, then our people can suffer. So we could always take off the overdrive, which makes the walking areas a little less pleasant. And then we can put it on at night, take it away during the day. We can play with it. So let's keep it off for now to conserve a little bit of coal for the nighttime because we don't have anyone working at night. We'll put 5 more people into there. I don't know where all the other people are and why no one is building. There we go. Alright, so that's all set there. Now the steps we're going to do is we're going to go minus there. You can see here it's very cold. This gives us a warning overlay. And here's why. This heater isn't on, so people walking around are going to hurt. So let's change this to 24 hours because people are building those buildings and we want to try keeping them in the warmer areas. But let's remove these people. We're going to put 15 and 15 back in because we need them to collect food. We'll put the remainder back into this one because we need to build that road. That is now complete, which is fantastic. That is now complete, which is fantastic. We're now going to take those 10 people away because wood is our next concern. So now on the next day, they will start collecting. It'll let us know the rate they collect at once that goes into play. So we'll find that out on the next morning. This is not operational because we don't have any raw food. Alright, so we're at a good point right now. You can see our hunters are going out. After I think we do the steel, we will get into Max Law. Wow, I keep getting interrupted. So let's go into, so this goes over the overcrowding. So what we can do is we can assign medical facilities that we can utilize by putting patients on the floor. The capacity of medical facilities is doubled. Using the extra capacity will cause discontent. So we can get more people in there if we need. Also, we could just give people extra rations who are sick. By doing this, they will heal faster. So we can play with this later, depending on how bad it gets. Because sometimes it can get very bad and go very poor very quickly. Or you can have a nice steady game. It really depends on some of the factors that play out. The next piece is the care house here. The gravely ill can be put into this location, and they're no longer burning on medical posts. So when I went into how I like to get people cleared out here, yes, we could just assign that and then quickly assign this to go into a care house, so it doesn't take that up. Hope does go up, so that is going to be a factor. So we will eventually do that. But we have to build a building, and I like to conserve resources at the beginning. Same thing with the corpse disposal. So now this comes to our next thing. What I like to do is I like to just enact extended shifts, because by doing this, we can then put people to work longer. Mainly I like to do this inside workshops, but we can put people to work longer, and it doesn't require us to build a building at the beginning. So for example, I want this building to be on extended shift because I want things to be researched a lot faster. So we will go into that. You can see we're coming up on day 6, which will bring back the temperature. We can also ramp this up to give people warmer feelings again, make people all fuzzy inside for the night while they're sleeping. And actually we're about to come to the end of the day. And people are now awake again. So let's lower it because I like to conserve coal at the beginning. And you can see we're running on those sly side of things. 6 hours until it's depleted. This is not a lot of time. If something happens and people start getting sick, it really messes with the day. So it's not worth doing. Alright, so let's fast. Oh, steel is now done. So we have steel, we have our wood, we can upgrade that a little bit later. We do not need charcoal kiln because we have plenty of coal at the moment. We don't need to convert wood into coal. We have our coal mining. I'm going to try not going down this route. I usually always jump on this. This gives us an upgrade to that. We don't need that. Our next priority is going to be the bunkhouse, but that's not going to be until the next draw. Our medical post upgrade, which will heal people at a 10% faster rate, more food, or we can go into exploration. Let's go into exploration because this is our next holdback, because what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to get more people to join our colony, and that's going to help us progress even faster up the trees. So because we can have more techs, more everything. So now we are into the work. They are now done. They are now done. We will put them to work. So we have 10 people already going to work in there. We have no one left in here. And our coal is not being utilized. But that is okay for now. So we're just going to put people into there, get that completed, because this is a higher concern for us. Perfect. This is collecting 8 wood an hour, which isn't significantly a lot at the beginning. I think it goes up to 16 when we get the upgrade, but it's something. Are they cold or warm? They are cold, so we will put the heater on for them to make sure that they are not freezing completely. The beacon is now researched, which is fantastic. So now what we also can have someone build our steel. I don't want to build this right away because we don't need it at this very second. Yes, it is worth always prepping for the future, which I guess we can prep for the future. Yeah, let's place that down as long as we can still build our beacon, which we can. So our beacon here, which we will put right here, this will allow us to go traveling. It will allow us to go to other places. I'm going to build a road because these need to be attached, as you can see by the symbols, for something for them those buildings to be used. So we're going to attach those. It's also the only way they work as well. So we can get more scouts, but I'm going to stop on this page for a little bit because we have other concerns. Like we want to get up to generator efficiencies. We want to get up to better resourcing like the sawmill. We want to get our food. So we have other priorities. Like I want to get this hunter's hut if we actually have wood. I want to get this hunter's gear underway before anything else. So because we can't do that, we're going to go straight into the sawmill because it allows us to, and we want to take advantage of every second of research. So let's go into this real quick. Blow through the day because nothing exciting is happening. The day now ends. Workers are going to get assigned. We're going to remove them again and put them back into our huts. So what we're going to do is we're going to end it here, and I will see you next time, and we will get into actually filling these huts and going out for our first scouting mission. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.